kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time. Appreciate you coming out. My son was here earlier. He brought me a little motivation from the big Dunkin' Donuts. So I've been nursing that. We did some work together, went to lunch, grabbed 4 machines out of my to-do pile, realized one was rusted a lot on the deck, so I swiped the engine off of that for another project. One of the machines we grabbed was this Troy-Bilt 21-inch. It had no beauty ring on it, I don't believe, and it's a 2005. The engine number 123 Kilo 020336 Echo 1. Built the 6th day, 6-month, 24th day of 05, 2005. So I did a little spray, black spray paint here on the top. Maybe I can find another beauty ring to cover up the rest of the rust. So I did some paint work already. It's a priming unit. Changed out the priming bulb with another bulb. Lot of rust on the coil and a ton of rust up here on the flywheel. It was actually grinding the coil as it was passing, so I sanded all that down. What else? Tightened up the head bolts. As you know, if you're working on these 3 here loosen up. They're heating up, cooling, heating up and cooling, and they end up loosening. Not so much on this side. Put some spray paint on the muffler. Snakey's keeping an eye on me, and I think that's the general update. So I've got a Costco snack lid here. That's what I'm going to use for my feeler gauge for the coil when that goes back on. This is a secondary carb. I had this already ready to go. I put it through the ultrasonic cleaner. So there must have been a float issue. There was no float in the bag, so I stole a float out of another ready to go. So I'll show you why I needed another carb. This is the highlight of the story. So it would appear this thing had a ton of water in it. So when I went to take the fuel tank off, probably should have did it like that, I could see it was all goobered up, and I thought to myself, well, that's not going to be any good. So go to take the jet off, and I couldn't pull it out of the bowl because there was so much build up on the other side of the jet, but I did finally separate it. So this stuff expanded so much it cracked the float. It's got a huge crack in it. I still can't get the jet out. I've never seen one this bad where the pressure broke off the float and it stretched it so much it cracked it. So I can see the float needle sticking up there. I would never be able to get this thing to work again. Hence, I put the used carb on. Yeah, so this is solid. So what was this, oxidation with the aluminum, or was this salt water acting with the aluminum? Only thing that I could probably do is salvage the bowl. So I had the option of putting another carb on. I have probably 10 of these ready to go. I think this is an actual HIPAA brand, which was on sale a while back. So I bought a bunch of them. You get the carb and a gasket kit. So I'll save that for another project. So what else? Let's start putting this machine back together. I think we can do it. I got to figure out where to sit you where you're not in the sun and not blocking me. So I think I have everything here I need to have, and I can work around you like this, I think. So let's do the coil. So I had a discussion with my son Greg when he was here, because the last 3 weeks I've been hitting it hard, hand to mouth. As soon as I'd sell a machine, I'd try to fix one, and it just got too overwhelmed. I couldn't keep up there in the last few days, and I told him I'm not gonna try to meet demand. I'm gonna be pulling my hair out. So I think things are slowing down, thankfully, anyhow, because I only had just one sale today. But who knows, tomorrow I might have 5 messages. So I do have 3 pushers and about 6 or 7 self-propelled. Self-propelled are slowly moving. I don't mean literally, I mean out the door. So in other words, I'm not going to kill it to satisfy every demand for a mower. I'm just going to sell what I have on hand. And not try to beat myself up. You know what I mean? So I told them I'm going to need a whole lot more in inventory next year. If I'm nearly sold out right now. So you can use a business card, whatever you want here. When I first started messing with these, I had feeler gauges, and I would spend a half hour trying to get this thing set up, and now it's just throw a piece of cardboard in there, single ply, and go with it. And I haven't had any issues. Okay, anything rubbing? The only thing's rubbing is over here on the linkage. I took the spring out so I could do some work. So we got free travel. I didn't even spray this one. I just went to town, tore it down, and saw the condition of the carb. So let's put this backup carb on. So I went through the priming system, and I'll discuss that. What else? Oh, I'll show you the trade-in. The one sale today, they sent me a couple of pictures and a 7-second video of this Cub Cadet with the effortless drive control MySpeed system. So that sounds like a knockoff of the Turo personal pace. Personal pace and MySpeed. How convenient. Okay, so I'm looking for my 10 on a 1/4-inch drive. That's what I'm going to use. With an extension, I can get in there pretty easily. I think my 10 is on the DeWalt. There it is, right in front of my face. I got my glasses on, so how could I miss this? So neighborhood scrapper showed up this morning. He had a Power Smart on the trailer, and power craps aren't the best. Noticed it was a self-propelled, looked fairly decent. Somebody just drove by with a lawnmower in their truck. Are they looking for me? Or was that a coincidence? Okay, what do we want to do now? Put the recoil on. Oh, you could see the Cub Cadet back there. So they said, oh, the deck's rusty, and they showed me it could run. And they had the bag. So just by the pictures, I said I can do 50 trade-in value. So I had a Turo, no bag. They said that they didn't need a bag for 200. So I got 150, the Cubby, and they drove off with their $150 Turo. They had 3 Turos out front. They found one that they liked. Okay, so we can go to work here. Put all this back together. Actually, the long ones should be here in the front. There's 2 different sizes. Okay, that was my screw up. I used them here, and I shouldn't have. So let me correct that. Not that it makes a difference, but might as well do it right. The longer ones are the ones in the front. But they're all the same thread. Yeah. I try to leave the screws in the section that I'm working. I'll show you my methodology sometime. So that goes in the back. This is for the Carby. So I'm going to take a few days off coming up, family time. We're going to Orlando. So I'm looking forward to that. So kind of coincides with the season slowing down. All I'm getting now is people moving to the area with no mowers, or their mower just blew up. Everybody that had taken their mower out of the shed in the springtime and couldn't get it running, they've already came out and bought, and I've taken their trade in. You know what I mean? That's my big rush. 2 big rains in the springtime, grass goes berserk. Helen tells Henry to go to the shed and get the mower started. Okay, so I'm not doing too good here. The long ones aren't working here in the front. Sorry, guys. I thought I had screwed this up. I'm putting the long ones back in the carb once I pick it off the ground. This is a catastrophe. Don't do what I do. Do as I say. Okay, so will these fit in the back? The long ones? Because I don't feel like taking the carb off a second time. Nope. Well, that stinks. Oh. I wonder if somebody worked on this. I swore the ones in the front were longer. Maybe I'm hallucinating. It was so darn hot today. Tried to stay out of the direct sunlight, work in the shade. Okay, skip past this. If you made it this far, skip ahead, because I'm brain dead. So the other 2 machines, one's a Quantum like this with a small deck, and the other one's a newer, like yard machine, front wheel drive with the plastic engine. So I'll add that to my inventory, although I have plenty of self-propelled. I got to keep looking around for these standard pushers. Okay, did this thing have a beauty ring? Yeah, it did. I'm sorry. Yep, it did have a beauty ring, and it looked ugly, really sun bleached. I'll show you. Maybe I can try to paint it, but then I'd have to buy new stickers, so maybe just send it out ugly. or just continue to paint the recoil here black. At least it would not show the rust or the crust. I hope everybody's sales are still strong. Okay, that's on. Now we'll put the tank, so I have access to the hose. We'll do tanky wanky. Oh, filler tube. Got to put that on first. Oil fill tube, because then I won't be able to get to the top screw. Let me clean this up a little bit. Right there. Maybe blast it off with some compressed air, because I wouldn't dare. Oh, somebody's getting a food delivery across the street. Grubba Hubba, or whatever it is. Bubba Hubba. I talked to my son about that. He said it's expensive to have it delivered. He looked into it once. It was like $48 to have a medium pizza delivered. So I would just drive to the pizzeria myself and pick it up. People are getting too lazy. And where are they getting all this money? They must be rich. I didn't know I had rich neighbors. Okay, let me tighten that 8mm up. We'll need this 8 again to hold the 3 screws for the top. I guess if you've been drinking, maybe that'd be a good option. Be a whole lot less expensive paying for the hubby grubby than to get a DUI. Or if you broke your leg, I guess it'd be nice to have somebody bring you the Olive Garden meal. Okay, so let's put these 3 shoulder bolts on the tank. So I'm using my backup wireless mic. The one I had been using did not want to recognize the receiver. So I hope this is okay. Okay, that's done. Let me blast the dipstick. Okay, it's showing oil about halfway up and it doesn't look bad. So let's put the backing plate on. I did my little paper trick. So I just put a piece of blue painter's tape down to cover the canal, but I didn't cover the air hole here. When you're pushing air, it's going to go through the canal into that little port there forces air up and it'll burp up into a little brass nipple, which you can't see it in there. So that's what we're looking for, is burpage. So we'll bench test it here, make sure it's burping, put some gas in the tank. Okay, that's what I was going to do. I had a little paper tape showing here. I can cut it back to the gasket. Just to make it pretty, and in case there's any gas that weeps out, it doesn't soften this up and get pulled into the engine. So there. A thing of beauty and a joy to behold. Snaky how's things going. Getting some late afternoon sunshine. Sorry about that. Let me grab some gas. I had it here earlier for another repair. Okay, that's good. We're more than covering the bottom, so I'm going to prime it, see if I can see it burping. Yeah, I see the fuel dribbling this way, so all the air that's being sucked in is going to pull that fuel inward. So that's good. That's the main deal. You want to make sure you're priming. So let me put the Champion Juliet 17 Lima mic back in. Got a little rust. Roughing this thing up. A little better contact. we're leaking the floats. The float's stuck open, it's just pouring out. Let me try tapping the bowl. Yeah, it's pouring right out of the throat. Or is it pouring out of the hose? No, I forgot to put the clamp on, but that's not the deal. The deal is pouring out of the carb float stuck. This is still coming out. Yeah. So we'll make this a two-parter. I'm going to pull the hose off. The tank, hold it straight up so it doesn't leak, and then take the carb off. So let me get my needle nose. I had forgotten to put the hose clamp on, but that's not where it's leaking. It's pouring out of the throat here. Float stuck. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just take a screwdriver, stick it through here, right into the hose to keep it upright, because right now it's just leaking. Something like this. Stick this Phillips right down there to hold it up. There she be, because my fuel level's down here, so if I would have filled it to the top, it would still be pouring out, but we're above my fuel level. So maybe we could do this together. I'll pull this off. Yeah, just coming right out. Any debris in the tank that might have come down into the carb. I blew it out a couple of times, make sure it was dry, had it on the hood of my truck, letting the heat from the sun dry it out, change positions with it upside down, straight up. Let me get a container to take a looky. We'll use this Arnold wing nut for the handle. Might burn through this plastic, the gasoline. Oh. Oh, wow. Yeah, I see a bunch of debris. Is it in the fuel line or what? Float seems to be moving. There is some junk down there. Let me take some compressed air and lightly force it in there. Let's give that a try. Who knows, maybe I'll have to go with the other factory new. At first I thought maybe I didn't tighten the bowl nut up. Okay, let me get you. Get one side tug, snug, and then give it a tug. Go back and forth. So I'm tightening it evenly. Okay, that's that. Now I'm going to grab the fuel line. Make haste. Put that on. Now I'm going to get my hose clamp on there. Okay, we leaking first before we continue with this disaster. It's looking good. So maybe the float needle was getting stuck on something, that little bit of debris. Okay, it's still dry. Hopefully we can still have some priming action. Start that process all over again. snuggy, snuggy. Keep going back a little bit more. Quarter turn. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's pouring out of the carb again. So I'm calling it quits on this one. It took it that much time to fill the bowl, and now it's coming out. Son of a gun. Okay. I'm just getting rid of this backing plate so I can save fuel. It's self-priming. It's coming out on its own. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, at least I'll show you the Cub Cadet that came in, since I told you I would. This Troy-Bilt was a disaster. Okay. Let me show you the ring from the Troy-Bilt. Just really dried out. There's no way of saving it. It's all pitted from drying. Little holes everywhere. Z-Start, 30% easier to pull. $6.50. Okay, so that's that. What do we have for this? It's got the My Speed system, the model 12 Alpha Bravo Bravo 2 Mike 5710. Cub Cadet, beautiful Cleveland, Ohio MTD product. It's got a China engine, I can tell just by looking at it over here with a little add oil sticker, and then down here it is a made in China engine. Let me see what year it is. It's not a Zhongchen, they put that on there, on their engines. Meets California Regs 2019, data manufacturer, 8th month of 2019. Like I said, it starts, I'll show you the issue with it. It's got a bag, side chute. The wife of the couple said the bag had never been used, and I'm seeing the chute is brand new, because I asked them, do you have a bag? So they must have had it in the shelf in the garage. So the deck flops. I noticed that when it was on the pickup. I said, where's it rusty? When he went to move it, I could see it doing the low rider shuffle. Oh, wow. Okay. So we've run into this before, where it's cracked in that location. Let me get you down here. Usually they crack and it's just about a ½ inch. This one kept going. And same thing up there. I could see it cracked in the same place. Oh, it went way up to here and kept going. and stopped right there. Where did this one stop? Looks like this one stopped right there, straight up. The other one at the top made an L. So this thing is toasted. The good thing about it is that the deck is the standard deck with the 6 attachment points back here. So if I could find a decent deck, it might not be yellow. It's probably going to be a red deck. I can move all of this stuff, this engine, the rear end, and this onto a bare deck. I've actually seen these decks advertised as just one piece, but they're over $200, and I'm not spending $200 on a deck. So I told you 1 out of the 4 today that my son and I dragged out was shot. So here's the same thing, same deck style. This is the cubby. You got your 3 holes, and then your front end. The only thing that this one is lacking is there's a cutout for the belt, the front wheel drive. So that's waiting for the next scrapper to show up. So what do we got for an engine on that one? Sticker's gone. It's a 2013. Auto choke. Is that rat damage or they ran into something? 2013. So that's what I pulled off of it. Bolts came off easy, which never happens. I end up breaking them off. So this was a good one. Hopefully it'll start. Anyway, that's my story. Nothing on the Troy-Bilt. So this will be parked. I'll make a note of it. Need another deck. Everything works. They said they were going to do a better job of washing off the Toro. That they didn't take care of this one. The Sierra Charlie 300 Hilo Whiskey High Wheels Front Drive. Performance tuned engine. Oh, that's nice. Okay, long video. We didn't get nothing done. Thanks for coming out. Tip your waitress and waitstaff. Adios, amigos.